In Kenya, many Maasais live in traditional Manyatta dwellings made out of clay and dung. It's very dark inside, and as apart from a few tiny round holes in the walls, there are no windows. There's no electrical light, and food is cooked on an open fire. So there's a lot of smoke in the huts. But now a company has started building more modern Manyattas. They have solar-powered light and a smoke-free kitchen. And the new comfort is even environmentally friendly. Let's have a look at these new eco-friendly Manyattas.
In Kenya's Maasai heartlands, living conditions are harsh. The traditional Manyatta mud huts are modest homes with no electricity or sanitary facilities. Olympia Kiplagat has plans to upgrade them.
The Eco Manyatta was born out of necessity. You can see for the old Manyattas, they're quite, they're rendering the use. It needs to be repaired quite a bit with the cow dung. It's also very dark inside and not very well lit. There's a lot of smoke coming out from the house. So there's a lot of diseases associated with the old Manyatta. So we're trying to improve that and still maintain the original loft shape of the Manyattas.
Cow dung mixed with mud is not a very durable building material. The old Manyattas need constant maintenance, mainly done by women. The poor hygiene standards attracts flies that cause diseases in children. And cooking with firewood is unhealthy and unsustainable.
Life before in a traditional Manyatta was very hard because the women have to get up very early to collect firewood to prepare breakfast for their children. And when the children have set off to school, then they embark on repairing the house where it needs to be repaired, which means going back into the forest to collect twigs, and they mix the twigs together with dung and mud to plaster the houses.
Olympia has come up with a new type of Manyatta equipped with solar cells and a rainwater tank. Trips to nearby rivers to fetch water are becoming less frequent. Women and children have more time now. They don't need to collect firewood for cooking anymore either. Now their source of cooking heat is cow dung, which is first mixed with water and stored. As it decomposes, the dung produces methane gas, free biogas to burn.
The dung from the cows, which are kept within the homestead, there's a collection point, so it's collected, and you don't need that very much for a daily use for the kitchen, in this case, because it's a single home, family home. And then the same is fed into the system, and there's a pipe connected to the homestead, and it's used for cooking.
Cooking with biogas has made life much easier and healthier for Joyce Murungaru and her family. She convinced her husband to move into an Eco Manyatta 2 years ago. For him, the step into a modernized world was not easy. Today, he only sees its benefits.
In my house, there is light in the kitchen, and also the food can be cooked quickly compared to firewood. The food is ready in 20 or 30 minutes. So, I've really benefited from an Eco Manyatta. I hope a lot of Eco Manyattas are built because it preserves the forest, and there won't be soil erosion because the trees won't be cut.
This solar-powered lamp changed the Murungaru family's daily routine. Previously, they were reliant on paraffin lamps, which were expensive and they made unhealthy fumes. Today, the fumes are gone and they can save up money for food and their children's education. This solar lamp has helped me a lot. Before, my children couldn't study at night. We used the paraffin lamp, and when the wind came, it would put out the light. Now, my children are doing well because they study at night. They've seen change. The local school also has solar power now, but most of the children don't have electricity at home until they go to the Murungaru's Eco Manyatta to do their homework together under electric light.
The impact has been very good. People have accepted the Manyatta very well. As such, seen the benefits, especially with the Manyatta, which has already been put up, have seen the benefits in terms of health, in terms of the environment, and also we also have a better livelihood for the people who have to now use the new Manyatta. Oh.
The biggest challenge here is the cost. Not many families here have $5,000 to $10,000 to spend like the Murungarus. The hope is that new funding, subsidies and continuous innovation will change that.
Oil spills pose a serious threat to the environment. If pollution from pipelines and wells, for example, isn't mopped up quickly, it can cause irreversible damage. Plants and animals die and groundwater can be contaminated, putting human lives at risk. That's pretty much what happened in Nigeria's Niger Delta. Now companies around the globe are trying to find ways of efficiently cleaning up oil spills.
Indeed, they are. A chemical company in Germany has come up with a cotton-like substance that can absorb 7 times its weight in oil. And this can be wrung out and used again. Environmentalists have already tested the material in the Niger Delta of Nigeria. We visited the company to find out more about its super sponge.
Even traces of diesel are enough to pollute wide areas of soil or entire bodies of water, whether it leaks from a tank or is swept out in floodwaters. But this wadding can help. It soaks up the fuel within seconds. And the wadding continues to float conveniently on the surface even when it's saturated. It makes the diesel easy to mop up and leaves little residue.
You shouldn't necessarily drink this water right now because there could still be traces left in it, but it could be recycled through a water treatment plant for industrial use without any problem.
The Durex oil wadding was actually created by chance. The Saxony-based company normally produces waxes and solvents for industry. But during the production process, a mistake caused the machinery to extrude an unplanned substance, a wax in the form of wadding. The developers quickly realized that the unexpected material had a very special fibrous structure.
It has very impressive absorbent characteristics, and when it absorbs oil, the material clumps, and it can be handled very easily. A kilo of it can absorb roughly 6.5 liters of oil, so I don't need much of it at all.
The NGO One Earth, One Ocean has tested the new wadding in Nigeria. Oil often leaks straight from badly maintained pipelines into the soil there.
And tease it out, and oil is coming out. And you do this, a little bit this, and you put it again. So you can use it.
The wadding has caught the eye of multinational oil corporations. Environmentalist Günther Bonin also sees a growing market for it in Germany. It offers economic advantages over granulate oil absorbents.
I can use it on a polluted surface, say a lake with an oil coating, and then afterwards retrieve it, squeeze it out, and use it again. That's why it's ingenious, because I can reuse it over and over. In countries like Nigeria, we've developed or converted special presses that are able to wring out up to 300 liters of oil.
The company's wadding is already regularly deployed in Germany. The country's Coast Guard uses it, as do fire brigades during flooding events. Depending on where it's to be used, the wadding can be integrated into different forms. Sometimes cushion-shaped absorbers are most effective. In other circumstances, tubes might be a better choice.
It's extremely important because when oil is floating down a river, you can't just dump the material on it because then you have no more control over it. You have to approach things in the light of the operational requirement and make things like barriers, for instance, out of floating tubes. Or if a diesel tanker breaks down on the road and fuel is leaking out, you might have to plug up drains. Or if there's some spillage at a company, a cloth form might be best to wipe the oil up quickly and effectively.
So an unintended production mistake has turned into a big boon for the environment. Durex now exports its oil-absorbent wadding to 14 countries in all, among them Israel, Indonesia, and the United States.